I thought losing my son would be loud. A fight, a slammed door, something you could point to and say, "That's when it ended." But it wasn't like that. He disappeared quietly. And then one day he erased my name like I had never mattered. My son went to a courthouse, paid the fee, signed the paperwork, and dropped my last name like it was something he didn't need anymore. He's 23 now. He carries his mother's maiden name, Baxter, not mine. He removed me from the one thing every father assumes will last forever. His name. The name I gave him at birth. The name I thought would follow him through adulthood, marriage, maybe even fatherhood. He took it off, filed it away, and replaced it with the name of the woman I betrayed. I didn't hear it from him. I found out from Facebook, not from my son, from his mother's sister. She posted a photo of him holding the certificate, new name, new start. The caption said, "Proud of this young man for choosing who he is." 37 likes. My ex-wife's entire family in the comments. "Congratulations. So proud of you." And then I saw it. My mother left a heart emoji. My own mother. I sat in my truck in a parking lot and stared at that photo for 12 straight minutes. My son smiling, holding a piece of paper that says I'm not his anymore. Biologically, he's mine. Legally, he was mine. In every way that used to matter, he was my son. But now the only connection left is blood, and he doesn't even want that to be visible. My name is Daniel. I'm 49. And every decision that led to that courthouse started with me choosing a woman over my son, and then punishing him for refusing to pretend he was okay with it. I cheated on my wife, Laura, when my son Ethan was 11. The other woman was Vanessa. She worked in procurement at my company. We had been having an affair for 7 months before Laura found out. Text messages, long threads, the usual. Laura went through my phone while I was in the shower. She read 4 months of conversations in 20 minutes. By the time I walked out with a towel around my waist, she was sitting on the bed holding my phone, and the marriage was already over. She didn't scream. She didn't throw anything. She just looked at me and said, "Get out. Tonight." Then she added, "Don't let Ethan see you leave." That was her priority. Not revenge, not explanations. Protecting our son from watching his father walk out in real time, even in the worst moment of her life. She was thinking about him, and I wasn't. I packed a bag, left at midnight. Ethan was asleep in his room, his door slightly open, hallway light on. He was 11, and still liked knowing someone was in the house. The next morning, I was gone. Laura told him we were separating. She didn't tell him why. She protected me. Even then, she gave me the chance to tell him the truth myself. I didn't tell him. Not for 6 months, because telling him meant admitting what I did, and I wasn't ready. I was too busy being in love with Vanessa to deal with the damage I caused. The divorce was final in 4 months. Laura didn't fight. She took the house because Ethan needed stability. I took my retirement and a weight of guilt that I turned into resentment, because that was easier to carry. 3 months after the divorce, I moved in with Vanessa. She had a daughter, Lily. She was 9, 2 years younger than Ethan. Brown hair, talkative, full of energy. The kind of kid who fills every silence with a question or a story or just a need for attention. Ethan met Vanessa and Lily at a restaurant. Neutral ground. That's what the parenting book called it. Yeah. I bought a parenting book about blended families. Read it in 2 nights, highlighted parts. Thought I was ready. I wasn't. Ethan was polite. He said hello. Shook Vanessa's hand. Looked at Lily and said, "Hi." 1 word. Then went back to his menu. He ordered chicken tenders. Ate them quietly while I tried to keep the conversation going like a broken machine. After dinner, Vanessa said, "That went well." I said, "He barely spoke." She said, "He's adjusting. Give him time." I gave him time, just not the kind he needed. I gave him the kind where the clock is already running, And I'm building the next phase whether he's ready or not. Because I was on Vanessa's timeline, not my son's. 14 months after the divorce, I married her. Ethan was 13, and he didn't hear it from me first. Lily told him during one of his visits, "My mom and your dad are getting married. Isn't that exciting?" Ethan looked at me. "You're getting married?" I said, "Yeah, buddy. I was going to tell you this weekend." He said, "She already did." I told him I was sorry. He looked straight at me and asked, "Are you sorry about the timing, or sorry about everything?" 13 years old. And I didn't answer. Because the truth was, I wasn't sorry about Vanessa. I wasn't sorry I left. I was only sorry about the mess. And kids can feel that. They hear the hollow part inside an apology. The wedding was small. Courthouse, Vanessa's parents, my mother, a few friends. Ethan was there. He wore a button-down shirt that Laura ironed for him. My ex-wife ironed his shirt for my wedding to the woman I cheated with. That's who Laura is. She put her son above her own pain. She made sure he looked presentable on what was probably one of the worst days of his life. Ethan stood next to me. I asked him to be my best man. He said, "Okay." Not yes, not excited. Just, okay. The kind of answer a kid gives when saying no would only make things worse. The parenting book called it a blended family. Like you throw everyone together, hit a button, and everything becomes smooth and unified. That's not what we had. We had a house where one kid lived there full time, and another visited every other weekend. One kid had a decorated bedroom filled with her things. The other had a guest room, a folding desk, and one drawer I cleared out for him. One kid called her mom down the hallway. The other called his mom on the phone, from a room that didn't feel like his. I told myself I was trying. And maybe I was. But trying isn't the same as understanding. And everything I did was shaped by what Vanessa wanted, not what Ethan needed. Vanessa didn't want a blended family. She wanted a complete one. Sunday dinners, family photos, matching Christmas pajamas. A story that said we were all one. She wanted the appearance of wholeness, and the thing standing in the way of that was my son. A 13-year-old who refused to pretend that the woman who broke his parents apart was now his family. It started with one word. Sister. Lily was 11. Ethan was 13. They had known each other for about a year. They were polite, civil, not close. Ethan treated her with respect. He said please and thank you. He answered her questions. He didn't try to hurt her. But he never called her his sister. Vanessa noticed. One night after Ethan went to his room, she said, "He never calls Lily his sister." I said, "They're not really siblings." She said, "They are. We're a family now. He needs to accept that." I should have said no. I should have protected him. I didn't. I said, "I'll talk to him." I went to his room, sat on the edge of his bed. "Hey, buddy, I want to talk about something." He said, "What?" "I noticed you don't call Lily your sister." He looked at me and said, "She's not my sister." I said, "She is now. Vanessa and I are married. That makes her your stepsister. We're a family." He didn't hesitate. "She's your wife's daughter. She's not my sister. I already have a family. This is yours." That hit hard. Because it was true. This was my family, built on the ruins of the one I destroyed, and I was asking him to move into the rubble and call it home. I told him to make an effort, said it would mean a lot to Vanessa and Lily. He said, "I am making an effort. I'm nice, but I'm not going to lie. She's not my sister. I already have a family. You left it." I went back and told Vanessa. She got upset. "He's rejecting us. This can't continue. He needs consequences." I asked what she wanted me to do. She said, "Set expectations. If he won't call her his sister, there need to be consequences." And I agreed. Because she was next to me every day, and he was only there twice a month. And the person next to you daily always ends up having more influence. That's not an excuse. That's just how I failed. I told him, "In this house, Lily is your sister. If you don't accept that, there will be consequences. He asked, "What consequences?" I told him. "Phone, screen time, seeing friends." He just looked at me. 13 years old. Being told his freedom depends on pretending a relationship he didn't choose. He said, "You're punishing me for not pretending." I said, "I'm setting expectations." He asked, "What's the difference?" There wasn't one. From there, it just kept happening. He got grounded for small things, for not sitting next to her, for correcting people, for telling the truth. Each time I told myself it made sense, but over time, it became clear. His feelings didn't matter. Only the performance did. Eventually, he stopped coming. No fight, no argument. He just slowly disappeared from my weekends. Then completely. Laura told me, "He doesn't want to come anymore." I said he didn't get to decide that. She said he did, and she wouldn't force him into a place where he had to lie to feel accepted. She told me he was breaking, that every time he came back, he felt smaller. He told her he felt like a prop in my new family's photo, a prop, and he didn't want to be in the picture anymore. I still didn't listen. Years passed. I saw him less and less, until I only saw him at a funeral. He looked like a man by then, spoke to me like I was someone he used to know, not his father. When he graduated, I wasn't there. He told me why. "I didn't stop loving you. You just stopped earning it." That was the last real conversation we had. After that, nothing. Years later, I found out he was in college. Not from him, from my mother. Then came the name change, Baxter, his mother's name. I called my mother, asked why she supported it. She said something I'll never forget. "You didn't lose your son because of one moment. You lost him because every time you had to choose, you chose someone else." She told me he survived me, and she was proud of him. Even Lily told me the truth years later. She said she never needed him to call her his sister. She just wanted him to like her, and every time I punished him, he liked her less. I didn't build a family. I built a wall. Now I look at his life from the outside. He has a girlfriend, a job, an apartment. A life that is full and has no space for me. He's happy, without me, and that's what I have to live with. He didn't need my name. He didn't need my house. He didn't need my rules. He needed one thing. For his father to say, "You don't have to pretend, just be yourself. That's enough." I never said that. Not once. Instead, I told him to comply, told him there would be consequences, and year by year, he answered the same way. No, then quieter, then nothing. Just silence, just distance, just a new name on a piece of paper, Camden Baxter, not mine, and the quietest goodbyes are the ones that echo the longest.